Hey,
On
welcome to Sports Talk and the Success Table, featured by you, man. My guy, Johnny Monell.
What's going on? How's it going?
Blessings. Uh, you're on our show, Sports Talk, like I mentioned. We're growing to over 5,000 viewers now.
Oh, nice,
And
nice. No, I'm just trying to sit somewhere comfortable. I know I'm gonna spend a lot of time here with you. So, now once again, thank you for let me be on your show and being able to communicate with you and help with your following to do what you got to do with your following and help these guys get an understanding of us players. And you got a nice little following there, and you have some good, cool pieces that you put out there. And I figure I'd join the party.
sounds good, man. So let's get it rolling, Johnny. How did you get involved with baseball as a kid?
Wow, man, I could be here all day with that. I mean, my dad played about 17 years professionally, so I was part of the game for a long time growing up and being exposed to the facilities, the stadiums, the ballpark, the travel. And I guess as a young kid, I grew to love the game and seeing it through how my dad was trying to provide, for his family and for my brothers and sisters. So I got an understanding of that very early in my life, and it kind of helped me through my process to just have fun and play ball and not worry about anything outside of that. So I was blessed and fortunate to be a part of the game at a very young age, and my dad had some great teammates, to name a few, some Hall of Famers: Ivan Rodriguez, Roberto Alomar, Carlos Delgado, a lot from the Puerto Rican base nationality. But just being around the game at a very young age, it kind of just gravitated me to play baseball. And now that I'm not playing baseball anymore, now owning and own and operate a training facility here in South Jersey. So, it's full circle, right? Like, I did it as a kid, watching my dad grow up and do it. Now I'm helping the community. Now I'm helping, trying to impact these young men in their lives to, do something positive and go after something that, whether it's college scholarships or an opportunity to shave some money off for their families to provide a college experience for them. So I'm pretty proud of what we're doing here. We're into our fourth year now. We've got some kids that are going into college, and we got some kids that are probably going to be called in this year's draft. So we're excited to see what happens and what their future, entails. But, right now they can only control what they can control. Same thing as me. And my job is to give as much as I can, what I know from the game, and help these guys get a better perspective of how to play baseball.
Heck yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
So, besides your dad, which sports guys did you look up to as a kid?
Wow, man. So I'm born and raised in New York, Bronx, New York. So obviously I was a Yankee fan. In those years in the early 90s, you had Derek Jeter, Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill, Jorge Posada, Chuck Knobloch, like Ruben Sierra. Like, those teams were unbelievable great, and obviously the championships they won. And being able to watch that as a young kid growing up and watching a team in your city win was always something that you wanted to be a part of. And obviously you're part of the city, so you feel that passion between the team and the city, and that connection is there. So seeing them win those championships at a very young age motivated me to win championships as well, going through little league or travel teams, or even in pro ball, where I won a few and also was able to win a National League championship with the New York Mets. So in my city, right? So it's a dream come true, man. Like, I'm super blessed and fortunate to have those opportunities. But at the end of the day, like, I knew I put myself in a position to work really, really hard and give myself the best chance I possibly could. So I'm very grateful for those organizations that gave me those opportunities. And, I've learned a lot throughout my career. And once again, I'm giving it back. So, it comes full circle for sure.
Definitely, man. So, when looking back, when was playing Major League Baseball a realistic thing for you as a player?
Obviously when you're a professional player, there's a lot of things that go with that can screw up your psyche, whether, you know, not performing, being away from home, girlfriend, wives, kids. It's not to say those are distractions, but they can weigh on the player, right? So whether you feel that you belong in AA, AAA, or even the big leagues, right? So the idea is being able to understand your process, control what you can control, and let fate decide, and let the people that are in those positions to make those decisions for it to come true. So to better answer your question, man, it's just a matter of being positive and focusing on what you can control and what you can do, and so you can be productive in a good headspace and in a good environment, no matter what the environment it is, whether you feel that you belong somewhere at a higher level or you felt in the big leagues. Like, now, trust me, Zach, like, there's times where I felt like I was better than other guys and I didn't get those opportunities. You know, that's not something that I let it weigh down on me. It motivated me to pursue that major league career. And, you know, I was blessed to do it with 2 different teams and be a part of a championship squad at the major league level and come short from a World Series. From a kid from the Bronx, I'm not supposed to do that. Right. So, like, there's a lot of things that go on in the inner cities that don't allow players to evolve or pursue their dreams because of the distractions of whether drugs, violence, or wrong place, wrong time, right? So, you know, those are the unfortunate things living in the inner cities, but it creates character and understanding that you can live through adversity and being able to believe and work through your process, and knowing that you've been around a lot worse, and knowing that you can take what you've learned throughout those years and apply it into a professional, real life atmosphere and be totally fine. So, yeah, I mean, it was definitely, it's a journey. And you learn patience, you learn so much going through those times. And at the end of the day, you're playing baseball and something that you love to do. So no matter what, when you step on the field, you don't hear anything but your enjoyment of playing the game.
Definitely, and that walk-up music.
Oh, baby, yeah. Whatever you're jamming to, you're feeling it. So you're definitely going up to the box, feeling yourself, because that's the song you picked. And whether it's in the minor leagues or big leagues, you know, if you're in the minor leagues, you feel like you're in the big leagues. If you're in the big leagues, you feel like you're in another universe. So, like, it's definitely 2 different worlds. But at the end of the day, we're playing baseball.
Definitely. Hey, you mentioned toughest, or that adversity. Everyone goes through it in life. But what was the toughest moment that you've had to overcome during your baseball journey?
Toughest moment, man. Whew. I mean, I wasn't a prospect. I had to turn myself into a prospect. I was a 27th round draft pick. I got drafted 3 times. I was a 30th round draft pick for the San Francisco Giants in 2013. And being able to understand the business side of things, like, you have to work your way up, just like any job, right? Any professional corporate job, like, you have to put yourself in a position to succeed and be productive. And at the end of the day, it's very black and white. Be productive, be good, and, you know, benefits of getting promoted happen. Or not, if not with that organization, maybe an opportunity to sign a free agent deal and land with an organization to give you an opportunity. So I've been on every spectrum of a transaction of baseball. I've been promoted, demoted, released, traded, optioned, you name it. I've been a part of that. So, and also play overseas. But, you know, I guess the biggest adversity is just being able to control what you can control and just focus, and being able to limit your distractions and put your blinders on and get to work, put your head down and get busy. Along with that, you create friendships, and you create, you know, life after baseball, right? So, like, you know, you see a lot of guys that I've played with. There's not too many guys that I've played with that are still playing now. So you see that the game is evolving. It always is going to flip. There's always going to be new players. And understanding that, like, you know, now with the baseball academy, being able to, you know, process that and help these guys get better and help them get an opportunity, whether it's through college or through professional baseball. Not everyone's going to play professional baseball. And if you do, like, just know that it's going to be a journey, and it's going to be it's going to take time. And you as a player have to be able to develop to compete with some of the best players in the world. And at the end of the day, it's very black and white up there. It's what have you done for me lately? And you have to be productive. So I guess the focus is to be the best that you can and be positive and not let those things distract you that you can't control, because it will eat you alive. And you're more worried about transactions or where you need to be and not being in the realm of what you need to be doing as a player.
Definitely. So you mentioned the guys in the league now, Major League Baseball. Who would you build your team around between these three players? Ohtani from the Angels, Trout from the Angels, and Mookie Betts from your former team, the LA Dodgers.
Oh man, that's tough. You got top 5 players in the league right now, and I'm sorry, but this is a great question because I have a buddy of mine that plays for them right now. I'm actually going to see them. Let this car go by. It's a nice day outside, so I figured I'd do this outside today. But I have a friend of mine. His name is Andrew Velasquez. We grew up together. We've been on various ball clubs together, whether winter ball or with the Rays. And he's a starting shortstop for these guys now. John Madden is giving him an opportunity to play every day, and he's basically in the middle of the lineup with Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. And just seeing how the creativity of John Madden being able to incorporate and use Ohtani, I think that was probably the best fit. So as far as like building, now you got my GM mode kicking in. I mean, it's hard not to have Trout, and it's also like you have a 2-for-1 player like Ohtani. And if you know that if you want to build a squad, you got to have pitching, and why not have a guy? So like, I guess the immediate answer would probably be Shohei Ohtani. No disrespect to my boy Trout. He is probably the best player in the game. Whether he takes 6 weeks off of an injury and come back and still have video game numbers. On a GM, on a scale-wise to get wins, I'm probably going to go with Shohei. And if it was a National League team with no DH, I'm probably going to have to go with Mike Trout. But now that the rules changed, I guess my definite answer would probably be Shohei, where I can get that 2-for-1 special bat and pitching to have that in the lineup. But for sure, like all three, not to take any credit from those 3 players. Those players are really, really good.
Definitely. They're like you mentioned, they're top 5 at least. Now, all 3 of them are killers. Hands down.
Hands down. Ball players. Like Trout's got what, 12 bombs already?
Something like that. And Betts, he's going to do some great things for the Dodgers this year.
Yeah,
that lineup is killer.
He needs a little comeback, a little bit. But yeah, that Dodgers lineup is very, very strong. Interested to see how their pitching staff unfolds, how their bullpen reacts throughout the season. They're a good team. And honestly, the Angels are winning this year, which no one had them on their radar to even be in first place or even be a top 10 team or top 10 power ranking in the league. So, there goes me dropping some baseball knowledge right there. What's going on today? But, yeah, you got those 2 guys in the same lineup. It's killer. And then you got some of these young guys, making a name for themselves, like the Walshes and the Fletchers, the guys that are a part of that lineup to make that happen. So, there's good vibes, there's good things going on in California, with the 2 teams that they have there. It's good to see finally that the Angels are showing signs of a playoff team, because I want to see Mike Trout win. I want to see him win a World Series. Like the guy's been under that organization, and it hasn't been a winning season since when I guess Benji or Jose Molina was the catcher, and that was probably in early 2000s.
With Albert Pujols too.
Albert Pujols and they spent a lot of money on bringing those guys in. The lefty pitcher, I forget his name, but he was definitely involved. You got Pujols, you got, they brought in some big names, but they just didn't pan out with the pitching. So now to see that they have Noah Syndergaard, former teammate, some 1-year deals that are panning out to Lorenzo, just a lot of guys that come with some stuff to the table that can be competitive. And that was the question of the year for those guys, right? Being able to see, if they had the pitching, they had the best player in the world, Mike Trout, and then they had the best player in the universe in Shohei Ohtani. So
hands down, a great player.
for sure.
There's not many people that can play both ways, hitting and being a pitcher. What was it last year? He went undefeated. No losses on his record, right?
And for a guy to have X amount of home runs and over 100 plus strikeouts, what? Like,
it's killer.
Like, I'm like, he's got to be the MVP in Cy Young, right? So it's like, it's no question. I mean, they got 2 legit MVPs and Cy Young on the same team. And the Cy Young Award contender is also an MVP contender on the offensive side. So, or Triple Crown if he gets into a good year. So it'd be interesting to see how those guys pan out for the rest of the year.
Definitely. So we mentioned the Dodgers. Why hasn't the league caught on to how the Dodgers build a baseball team and be able to replicate how they do it? They keep on picking up these top free agents every single year, and before the trade deadline, getting players.
Well, you have to understand, I think, the depth in the organization first, right? In the minor leagues to see what kind of prospects they have to then go ahead and turn over to make such a deal if they needed to, right? So, when you have a big market team with X amount of dollars towards payroll, their mindset every year is to win, right, at all costs. But being able to have the new GM come in with the same mindset that, the winning attitude of what Tampa had a few years back, and you've seen that crew kind of disperse to other teams, and they're also being successful. So I just don't think they're just spending the money. They're spending the money with the right personnel, be able to do the job, which are just great business moves on their end, being able to, like, who doesn't want to go play in LA? It's a great atmosphere. It's packed every night. It's loud. It's exciting. You got stars that come to the game. It's a really easy pitch and sell to a player that's coming in that's, $100 million plus player, or a guy coming in for $5 million a year or just on a minor league deal to make a impact on the squad as an insurance player. So, my perspective on that is, I forget the GM's name. I forgot. I think it's I don't know who. I forget his name because there was a group of them. The whole group. The now GM for Boston was with Tampa. The GM for the San Francisco Giants was with Tampa. The GM for the Dodgers was with Tampa. All 4 of those guys were with each other, and now they're kind of like putting their own twists and turns in their own organizations. Pretty cool to see that. But when you have that type of payroll, other than what Tampa had, it's pretty easy to say, hey, like, this is what you got, go get it, right? And it's just a matter of making the right fit, or filling the voids that they may have, or concerns that they may have going into a championship season. So, they've been doing a good job being able to put that type of, they've been doing a really good job putting that product on the field. And it's great baseball to watch, especially when you go down to LA. So, they have some good prospects along the line. I guess that comes with drafting right, being able to have the good minor league coordinator and farm director, and the people that you put in those positions to help make those decisions for the future of your organization. So it's exciting to see, and good to see that they have ways of still being competitive and still being able to run day-to-day operations with a nice, healthy budget as well.
Definitely. Their lineup is second to none, man.
Well, no
how far away do you think they are, the Dodgers, from winning another World Series title?
I don't know. This game, see, like, my perspective on this, like, you could have a really good team on paper, but you got to play the games. You got to play them. I mean, there's some teams that struggle playing against sub 500 teams. If you look at the Yankees this year, they're playing against the Orioles. Orioles have their number. They've been holding them pretty well, but the Yankees are like 10 or 15 games above 500. So at the end of the day, no matter how powerful or how big the team may be, you still got to play the games. That's the beauty about going to the ballpark. Any day of the week, you can lose, right? Depending on injury, bad base running, bad play, just the timing of the game. That's the beauty. That's why we play 162 games, to basically play another 15 games to distinguish who's champion. It's basically who can survive the marathon and who can, who builds a better longevity of a team throughout the course of a season. And also things happen, being able to maneuver through injuries, or being able to make the moves, or say, hey, we need to go make a move and change. It's a lot that goes into that. And, those decisions are important. And you would just hate to make the wrong decision that ends up, costing you a run to the playoffs, or hoping that you make a decision that gets you a run into the playoffs as well. So it's like a double-edged sword. And I'm happy I'm not in that position to make those decisions, but hopefully one day, right? I can't say never, but if any GMs are watching, or any presidents or CEOs or any MLB owners are out there, like, shoot me an interview.
I hear you, man. Well, Johnny, we'll end on this. Where can my audience find you on social media?
You guys can find me on my Twitter page. I have a Twitter, JMO220, at JMO220, JMOE220. I also have Instagram with the same handle. My training facility page is at 220 second to none on Instagram. All those links are on my profile. Pretty easy to get a hold of me. If anyone's interested in the South Jersey area that's looking to get some work in, we have a great staff and community that we've been building here. You're going to see a little bit more of me on my social media, providing content and possibly an NFT creation. We got some things in the works of that. So other than that, just trying to build and create a better environment for the players. And, you can definitely reach out to me. I'm pretty flexible on my DMs and communicative on whether it's development or even about talking about the game. So don't ask me about prop bets either in my DMs. I'm not giving you any details on that, what you guys think, but to help you guys build your DraftKings portfolio. But other than that, you guys can definitely reach out to me. I'm pretty flexible. Hopefully you guys have any questions and reach out, and I'll be able to answer any of your questions or help with your process if you decide to use our facility in any kind of way.
Definitely. Well, Johnny Monell, this concludes our interview. Hey, for all the viewers out there, if you're not a subscriber to Sports Talk 1996 on YouTube, don't hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. This concludes our interview, Johnny. I greatly appreciate it.
Having me. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to share my story and be with you today.